A fundamental concept of physics is that things travel the path of least resistance. Humans are no exception to the rule. We want the easiest path to what we want. We want to look, sound, and feel the best all the time, no matter what it takes to make that happen. This insistence to justify our actions and beliefs despite the consequences has led to double standards. Double standards are the pinnacle of human perspective. Isn't it interesting that in a relationship, we tend to classify female disinterest as a warning sign, but male disinterest as just a bored sigh, just guys being guys? On the other hand, a guy unwilling to talk can be berated by an angry significant other who conversely expects that guy to just know what she wants. We want our partner to go the extra mile, but we don't even want to give an extra smile. A common sentence is, "You know what I mean," when sometimes you don't even know what you mean. We say, "How don't you understand?" while being short with them, but then say, "How could I understand?" when we feel we've been shorted by them. Too often we get into relationships and we forget there's two parts to a relationship. We either focus on the relation and forget the ship needs to be steered to get it where you want it to go, or we get so focused on steering the ship we forget about the relation. In both cases, we're left with less than what we signed up for. Isn't it interesting that we can be so willing to ask for mercy, yet so unwilling to give it? We force our way into a traffic lane with a pitiful hand raised before harshly honking our horn at someone else doing the same thing. We make mistakes and say, "I can explain," but when someone else does it, it's just not the same. We blame others' faults on the absence of attention, but justify ours by the presence of intention. We like to complain about what's not fair for us when the only fair we give to others is fair for the bus, and sometimes not even that much. Yet in our hypocrisy, we dare to mark that down as a plus, another plus for a positive person. So focused on the positive we've added up and the potential we've built up, we forget to complete the circuit and actually put all that energy to good use. Instead, we use good just to balance bad while expecting good things from a bad world. We counter fast food with a juice cleanse, a lazy week with a weekend bike ride, and hurt feelings with makeup gifts. Isn't it interesting that we can get so angry over injustices or opinions in some contexts and yet completely be insensitive to them in others? Chick-fil-A's owner is discriminatory and worthy of a 280 character beatdown on Twitter, but not enough to make you stop buying sandwiches. Unjust wages are so heartbreaking, but I guess it's more heartbreaking to live without that new iPhone. Or the ultra-wealthy are despicable for all the excess that they have, but Black Friday is a great opportunity to stuff my closet, drawers, and cupboards of things that I know I won't be using. How about we choose to be less angry and more honest? Our entertainment, food, education, news, everything is coming via flawed humans. We will never know peace if we are constantly trying to avoid evil. We shouldn't avoid evil, but confront it. We cannot know the details of everyone that inputs into our lives. Isolating ourselves from those we deem unworthy of our association does nothing to address the problem, which is usually what we actually have a problem with, not the person. With how corrupt this world is, we can't guilt trip evil out of existence, and we also cannot live beyond the influence of corrupt people. We live in a messed up world where we are all flawed, and we can only do our best to change things for others. That sounds a lot less burdensome than the nitpicky moral policing that many people like to do these days. We are so convenient as humans. We tell children not to do things because they're bad, when the reality is we do those things and they're just not old enough to meet our arbitrary standards. We try to walk a high and noble tightrope between societal norms and personal convictions and jump through fiery hoops in front of everyone that watches us just to end up looking like circus clowns when we fall. We know who we are and yet so often try to be who we aren't. We ask God for blessings through others, but ask others that God wants us to bless. We are so self-serving, so focused on wealth earning, that we might end up hell burning if we're not careful. Let's be less convenient and more consistent. Let's get rid of these double standards that double the standards we hold others to. Let's live our lives more simply in an increasingly complex world. We've gotten lost in details and missed the bigger picture on a lot of topics. God has never asked us for something he never set the example for or wouldn't do himself. Why should we do that to others?